What's going on, YouTube? I know it's been a second since I've uploaded a video, but I'm here back with you guys with Psychic Side Decking number 3 for Heroes. I'm doing windups next, but Heroes have been a headache for me for forever, so they're kind of higher than windups to me. So I'm just trying to go over some main deck cards and side deck cards that can help out in the match. And as you'll see, a lot of them are kind of similar. But, so these are the main synchros, exceeds, and of course, ultimate axon kicker you're going to want to go into. I don't play one of those in mains a lot. I just don't like exceeding in the psychic deck because you don't really get too much back for it. But when you do, and you go in the Zen mains, it creates a bit of a problem for them. Because at 21 defense is hard for them to get over. Their strongest monster in deck is 1900 attack, being Elias. So they have to either Gemini Spark it, which you can still save it, detach material and blow up a card. They have to Hero Blast it, which you can detach material, save it, and blow up a card. Or they have to Super Poly it. Now if they Super Poly it, you're just kind of SOL. But if they Super Poly that, then that's one less Super Poly for them to hit your Beast and Barkion, which are your, main two cards in this matchup. So, if you can get them to waste a Super Poly on Zen mains, then he's done his job extremely well. Next, Beast, obvious choice here. I think normal hero decks run like 9 or 10 monsters, 22 spells, and like 8 traps or something like that. It's like really ridiculous the amount of spells that they run. And they're all fusion-based or search-based spells. And then they run like 1 or 2 super polys. So, the Cherry Beast stops darn near everything in the deck except for super poly. And you don't attack with Beast until you have Barkion on the field. That's just, smart playing. Because they're going to set 4. And yeah, 3 of those might be might be spells. But one of those could be Mirror Force, and when Beast gets out the field, they get to go off. So you try to protect Beast as long as possible. Barkion answers that last scenario when they set 4 back row, and at least 2 of them are spells because the Cherry Beast is on the field. If you have Barkion, then you only really have 2 to worry about. Hero Blast, I'm pretty sure it only hits monsters with an attack less than whatever hero they get. So I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's what it does. And if that is the case, neither Beast nor Barkion can get destroyed by Hero Blast. So then that only leaves like warnings or compulses or mirror forces, which Barkion takes care of. So that's why those 2 are great in this matchup. Catastor just gets rid of their exceeds, their synchros, their exceeds, their fusions, and it doesn't really have a problem with any of the fusions except for Escardo, because Escardo can just run it over. Yeah, Elemental Hero Shining gets 2 cards back, but they're 2 non-dark cards, so Elemental Hero Catastor, Alley of Justice Catastor still is a great card in the matchup. And then Thought Ruler and Ultimate Axon Kicker are great because Ultimate Axon Kicker is just a boss. It's just the best card that Psychics have. Can't be destroyed, so Absolute Zero doesn't do anything to it. Great Tornado can, weaken it, but nobody's going to fuse into that. Axon has a problem with Shining, though. Thought Ruler, it stops the Hero Blast and the Gemini Spark play. Because they have to target whatever psychic it is that you're going to play. So if you don't want that psychic to die, you just pay 1,000 with Thought Ruler, and you're good to go. Traps and monsters you should be running. Monsters, Serene Psychic Witch, they have to come over to your side of the field and attack you in order for them to gain plus. So Serene Psychic Witch is obvious, and you run 3 of it anyway, so there's no reason to explain that. Effect Veiler stops Stratos. Biggest part of Effect Veiler's job. Next, it stops any XYZ monsters that your opponent has. It doesn't really stop their fusions, but it stops their XYZs, which is good. Then, Warning is, I have a love-hate relationship with Warning because it doesn't stop Miracle Fusion, and it doesn't stop Super Poly. But you can use it on their Exceeds, It stops Mirror Confusion, but it doesn't remove their materials from play. So they still have the materials, so they just have another Mirror Confusion in hand. You just wasted 2,000 life points. But sometimes it can be game breaking if you use it at the right time. You're gonna want to save these two for their fusions. Namely Elemental Hero the Shining. That's their boss monster. And you want to banish that guy. You don't want to send it to the grave. You don't want to destroy it. You want to banish it. So that's what these two cards are really for. These two cards are really geared towards the Shining. This is the card that you just flip over whenever they summon any old thing. Like whenever they summon Alias or whatever. Torrential Tribute, because more than likely if they summon Alias, they either have Super Poly or they have Gemini Spark in hand. And when they do that, or when you activate anything to their summon, they're just going to chain it. So those are main deck cards that you should be trying to run. Also another card that actually puts in a great bit of work in getting rid of Shining, and it doesn't really get rid of it, it just takes it. Psychic Jumper. They have a Shining on the field, they have an absolute zero, whatever it might be. Any of their fusions, they work so hard to get them out. Just take it. As with anything else. So Psychic Jumper is actually really good in the matchup too. Now on to side decking options. I have two cards here. One is Malevolent Catastrophe. This is a card that I actually really like. When your opponent attacks, you activate this and you destroy all spell and trap cards on the field. So those four that they just set, and then they summon Alias, then they attack, and you activate Malevolent Catastrophe. They can't chain any of those four cards that they just set, and they've gotten rid of their whole hand, basically. And then, to a lesser extent, of course, we've got Destructotron, which puts in stupid amount of work, because when they destroy your Strange Psychic Glitch, go get Destructotron. Hopefully you have an emergency teleport in hand. Then when he hits the field, they have to bottomless, they have to warning, they have to Gemini Spark, they have to Super Poly, they have to do something. Because if they don't, you're paying 4,000 life points, you're getting rid of all their cards, and then you're just going to start gaining life points back. So these two are really good in the matchup. Getting rid of Shining without destroying it is the biggest part of this matchup, and Spacian Grand Mole does it great. They even tech these cards, so that's a really good card. Silver Sentinel, I like it a lot because it punishes Gemini Sparks. You guys know how much I like Sentinel, and it helps you go into Barkion, so of course that's good. And as everybody knows, Thunder King. Thunder King should be in your main deck at 2 or 3. And this next format is going to prove his worth in gold. But anyways, shuts down E-Cost, shuts down Rhoda, shuts down Stratos, shuts down any exceed plays they have. I mean, really, it's crazy how good Thunder King is. I mean, that goes without any explanation. Then you got Double Phoenix Chain. I like this just because it stops their monsters from attacking. It puts the Shining at a permanent 26 while your Axon's still at 29. Yeah, they get their 2 cards back, but still. Phoenix Chain is the stopping the attack is the most important part of Phoenix Chain. At least in this matchup. Fossil Dyna is the only card that can stop Super Poly because they can't activate it, and that is the only reason why. It's ridiculous because it's the only thing that even allows you to play around Super Poly without having to sacrifice any cards to do it. You just summon this, and then they can't play it. They can't even chain it to the summon because they can't special. So that's great. And also, if they already have a board set up, if they have like stupid advantage set up, just set this card and set a couple back row. Then when they attack, you flip it and destroy all their stuff. So Fossil Dyna is really, really good. Sideblocker is another card that can, well, Okay, Fossil Diner is not the only card, I guess. Side Blocker is another card that can stop Super Poly. But if you call Super Poly and they have it, they're going to chain it. Which is kind of cool because then they get a great tornado out on the board with what? Nothing on your side field. So Side Blocker can be good. It can also last time I played a hero player, he set 4 and summoned a Stratos. And no, he set 5, summoned a Stratos. So I knew he didn't have Super Poly in hand. He didn't have Gemini Spark. Nothing. No, that can't be right. Anyway, he had 4 face down and a Stratos on board. He hit my String Psychic Wish and I got Side Blocker. So then the next turn, I activated Side Blocker's effect and called Starlight Road. Then Heavy Storm and destroyed all 4 of his cards. And one of them was Starlight Road. So I was able to get a pretty good field advantage from that and go on to win the game. So Side Blocker is a pretty good card if you can read your opponent. And of course, everyone knows Macro. This is a repeating theme. Just because how broken Macro is, DD Telepon and Brain Hazard are pretty good as well because they allow you to play Macro offensively. Heroes aren't going to play it. Heroes aren't going to play Def. Well, they might play Defissure, but it's pretty, rare that they do. So, you shouldn't have to worry about them playing Macro. If all else fails and you just can't get past heroes, to go ahead and throw in the Macro and the Brain Hazards and the Telepon, and then you get 2+ off of that. And then last is Goes and Match. And as much as I wish Rivalry of the Warlords could work, they're all heroes. So Goes and Match stops it because Stratos is wind, Elias is light, Bowman is water. And I think those are the only ones that they main deck. Great Tornadoes win. Shining's light. Absolute Zero's water. Escardo's dark. The Gaia's earth, and Nova Master's fire. So yes, they have every different attribute, but you make them play only that attribute. So if they have a Bubble Man on the field and they have a Super Poly in hand, then they have to hope that you're playing a water monster so they can Super Poly into Absolute Zero. They can't if you have a jumper on the field, they can't Super Poly into Gaia because their base attribute is water right now. So truthfully, if you can get if you can get Goes and Match and Naturia Beast on the field at the same time, you should pretty easily win this duel because they can't activate any spell cards. There's not an earth monster in their deck that they run except for maybe Neospatian Grand Mole, which they have to draw into. And they can't activate Super Poly because there's not an earth hero that people run. So, meta anyways. You might run into some people playing Woodsman. But meta heroes, they don't run any earth heroes. So if you can get these 2 cards on the board, especially if you can get a Barkion as well, you have that game won. There's almost no way that you can lose that game. Darkhold, nothing can stop you. So, games 2 and 3, try to get this lot going as quickly as possible. So, this has been Psychic Side Decking for Heroes, and the next one that I will be putting up is Psychic Side Decking for Windups. So, guys, stay tuned. Hope you enjoy it. Oh, and everybody knows about Soul Taker, by the way. I didn't want to leave that one out, but everybody knows about that, so that's not like a big deal. But anyways, rate, comment, and subscribe, guys, and stay tuned for the next one. Peace.